Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Way Up Trading. Now today I want to go over the one, the only AMC chart. AMC made a little bit of a move today to the upside as I predicted, and as we talked about a little while ago after that major retracement off the 100% move we had in after hours last Friday, and starting to make its way back up to possibly test that major 613 area we've been talking about for several weeks on this channel. I want to see how things are going to look like they're going to play out going into the next couple of days, possibly going into earnings, as well as my prediction longer to midterm on what's going to happen with AMC to the upside just a little bit. We're going to talk about all that and more right after this.
Wow, that's pretty good.
And this would be our net profits.
Yikes.
Got the chart pulled up here for AMC. We're going to look at just the more recent price action for this past week going into today. And basically, they're going to look here. We got this setup that we have off of that 100% move we had the other day. Call that in advance. If you have been paying attention to the channel, we were able to catch the move before it happened. Talking about a 70 to 100% move well before it even happened. And we got the exact move I talked about. So pay attention. Keep watching how we do this thing. So in this case, not to mention, those calls went about 400%. Just saying. So anyways, taking a look here, we got this 30-minute chart set up here. We have because now we have that move in after hours, and again, I do use the after hours to get the most available information on the charts. And you can basically see in this case it has created a bullish reversal pattern that I've been looking for after that move up, even though it's completely sold off. If you haven't been paying attention to some of these the order books and things like that, you can basically see they are now doing one share per order. I mean, literally one share, single share purchases are going through the order book. But when 8,000 share orders are going through, they're being pushed off exchange. Crazy price manipulation. However, regardless of what the chart is, and basically right now this is looking like it is in a bullish setup in my opinion. And right now we are looking at a bullish bat reversal pattern to the upside. It's basically showing that we have the bounce off of, again, the smooth moving average, which is again an indicator I like to make sure I have on all my charts, showing that we had a bounce up here with a 921 cross in pre-market this morning after finding a nice level of support on that $4.50 mark since this past Friday. They were trying to push us down to completely fill the gap that we had from the run up. It's roughly around the 440 to 448 mark, but it left a few cents behind before starting to turn around and head back up. I believe 451 is where we did enter some calls for the IV play. We had $12 calls. A lot of people were a little upset about. However, those calls did print regardless, roughly about 70% just from this move for the bounce move to the upside. Played out really well on the holding runners, just in case. You never know, the judge signs off on something that we do run the 12. However, it is what it is. But we basically were able to see that we had this upside move, a little bit of a rising level of support before breaking over the smooth moving average and holding the 9 EMA the entire move up today. Roughly had at its peak about a 10% move on AMC. We are now holding above one of my first targets here, which is at 494. Once we did break it, we started to move up towards the higher numbers. I think we had a max today or high today of roughly about 508. In after hours, sitting a little below 497 right now, sitting at 494 on the after hours time frame. Going into tomorrow, I'm looking for a continued push. I mentioned on Twitter a lot of heat for this one, saying that we're going to move to the upside to roughly test the $6.13 mark that I have been mentioning for several weeks on end. How important it is to break that level. I mentioned it on Twitter that we would most likely see a retest of it probably on Monday or Tuesday, and that's exactly what we're heading. And so far, so good. My next target to the upside is sitting here at $6.18. I would not be surprised at all with the continuation of the move I expect in SPY. If you haven't watched that video, take a look at the other video I made a little earlier in regards to how the market is moving. And that move on SPY should continue to carry us out. There are short squeezes happen left and right on the entire market. And I do see a potential upside sweep on some of the liquidity to the upside on the market. And I believe that AMC is going to follow a trend to the upside because the chart pattern is calling for it. So I am looking for a test most likely by tomorrow, Tuesday, for a 618 test before coming back, possibly down to reaccumulate and see another push higher. My target 2 would be about $7.18. This is going to be going into the earnings that we have happening going on the 8th of August. So we should see some type of a touch, hopefully the $7 mark, which would bring us back down and probably retrace and hold and somewhere in between there the mid sixes before we go into earnings report. All right, I got the 1-day chart pulled up here, basically 23 hours, so we can actually take a look and see how we're standing here on the chart. This is the more recent price action. You can see basically we had a couple different indicators turned on. I have the order block set in place here again to show us where the liquidity stood, as well as where our sell orders, our greatest sell orders, are going to be holding their blocks in order for it to pretty much hold stock back, sell off, and things like that. Generally, institutions are the ones that actually set these types of orders in advance, so we can kind of see them and engage them and give us an idea of where price action can most likely head to based upon the chart, as well as where money is sitting in order to either buy or sell. Now, in this particular case, you can basically see here we have the upside targets I mentioned before. 561 is going to be a major area where we most likely will see some resistance on the 1-day chart. And once you start to bust through those levels, I want to see 613 break here. You can see that the beginning of this block is roughly at $6.19, just above the $6.13 mark that I've been mentioning over and over again. You gotta burn this one in your brain, because we need to break 613 before we start to see anything happening. But that's where the most sell orders are waiting to knock this thing back down. Target 1 is sitting at 683, and our highest level here is at 993. I have been calling $9.19. I'm expecting that to break eventually. I'm still calling topside targets most likely in the $29 region. I'm still expecting to see my upside move targets at the end of the summer going into the end of September. I'm expecting a move to roughly about the $29 mark very, very soon as the height of the next push. And you can see that there are orders still waiting in this area, ready to knock this thing back down once it starts to get up there in the squeeze territory. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I do believe that news is starting to build, obviously for multiple different reasons. We know lawsuit, all those other things, FTDs and all that other good stuff. Those things are most likely going to play into it, but there are a lot of manipulative things that are happening with the stock. Can't really speak on the whole Adam Aaron thing. However, the chart is what the chart is, and we're going to play the chart for what the chart is giving us. All right, so we got the 23-hour chart pulled up here. You can take a look and see that we had this basically this breakout. A lot of confluence in this area. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up real fast so you can take a look. This pink shaded area, you can see this pink shaded area over here is basically where a lot of the smooth moving averages that I like to use on most of my charts is showing a highly compressed area of just resistance. And if once that area starts to break, we should start seeing some really nice upside movement. And that's exactly why we got the movement here. You can see that this is the descending broadening wedge we've been talking about for quite a while. You can see that basically was broken after that this past Friday to the upside, and it was such a very violent move to the upside. You can see there was a megaphone pattern that actually created off of the lows and highs of the last run-ups that we've had earlier in this year, in January as well as April and May, over the last earnings reports. So I basically would like to see some type of a movement that resembles just like a move to the upside for quite a little while till we start to play 9 and 10, and then from there we'll see some kind of an upside movement here to the $20 mark before seeing a reversal, rejection, and push higher to that $29 mark. Now that will take a little time. I don't expect it to happen right away, but I am looking for those higher numbers, like I mentioned before, somewhere into end of the summer and the end of September. So I'm not going to move away from that. I'm going to stick to that forecast. In my opinion, that's where we're going. It could take a little bit longer. It's possible, but I'm going to call it for now. It's going to say basically end of September. We'll look out for that movement. But this area of confluence on all of these different locations, this stock is really tightly wound up. A lot of opportunity here is still available to average in, average down, get in if you're not already in. But yeah, this thing is looking like it's almost ready to go. Basically, a complete end style move, just upward. So all-time highs are still, in my opinion, on the table for this particular stock. This is the 5-day chart. Just one more look at it. Longer term, you see where those order blocks are waiting, sitting right here, $12.38. I'm waiting for that move that's most likely to take place going into August. I'm looking for a move to this target too, $29.85. A lot of flack for this on Twitter. If you're not following me on Twitter, make sure you follow me there. I do post a lot of high-quality content. Also, some opportunities that I see. I may throw them out there to the Twitter fam as well. But yeah, take a look at some of that. Follow me there. Basically, right now, the only thing I'm concerned with is breaking $6.13. Once that's broken, this is the 5-day chart. I'm looking to play these upside moves. Very easy to see just looking at these. I have my lines and my support and resistance levels. But in this case, it's much easier to see on screen. So I have it set up here. You can see where the sell orders are waiting. There's a reason that they're waiting here. Simple as that. They're waiting here in order because they have a good indication. These are not individual sellers. These are not retail sellers. These are institutions looking to sell this down. They only put these big monies ready to sell these areas, so be prepared. It will move through, and in this particular setup, it will move fast. It's not going to be a very slow move. It's going to be another violent move, very similar to what we saw in the after hours this past Friday. So be prepared for it. Follow what's going on. Keep your heads on a swivel. Stay frosty. I do see some positivity coming out of the AMC chart coming next couple of weeks. Yeah, we're gonna keep an eye on this thing. We're gonna keep you posted on anything that I see that changes and take it from there. If you like more content like this, more videos like this, make sure you go ahead to like button, subscribe. Join us on the way up. I'm gonna be here each and every day, growing our portfolios together and making the outcome income for 2023 and beyond. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Consider joining the Way Up Trading Group. Link is down in the description. And we're going to talk to you next time. Peace.